Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to look at Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. This is the story of Jesus and Zacchaeus. Now, for a lot of Christians, when you hear the name Zacchaeus, chances are pretty good you think of the old Sunday school song. Zacchaeus was a wee little man, and a wee little man was he. Zacchaeus is known for being short, and there's this whole song about how he's short. This is the thing that people remember him for. It's like Napoleon complex, right? Very few people can actually articulate what Napoleon did, but they know that he's famous for being short. Same deal with Zacchaeus here. But let's look at the actual text. Let's see what other people would have known Zacchaeus for. We hear that Zacchaeus is a tax collector. That's what people would have known him for. Okay, so why? What's the big deal about tax collectors? Zacchaeus wasn't just like an old school version of the IRS. Back then, being a tax collector, nobody liked you, and for very good reason. Tax collectors were Jewish people who worked for the Roman Empire. Now remember, Rome oppressed the Jewish people. So if you're working for them, you're siding with the enemy. And they're also taking money from their own people, right? That's what tax collectors do. The way that they made their own money is that they asked for more taxes than Rome was asking for. And then they paid Rome what Rome wanted, and then they just kept the difference. So they're working for the oppressor, and they're cheating their own people. Nobody liked tax collectors. Here's Zacchaeus. He's a chief tax collector. He's one of the top tax collectors. Nobody likes him. Well, he hears that Jesus is coming, and because he's so short, he can't see Jesus through the crowd. Now, an interesting little note in the text is that when we hear about Zacchaeus looking for Jesus, it says he couldn't see Jesus because he was short. It's unclear who the he is. Does it mean Zacchaeus was short? Or does it mean Jesus was short? It kind of seems like it's more Zacchaeus, but grammatically the text is unclear there. Anyway, Zacchaeus climbs this tree to get a better view of Jesus. Now, you kind of wonder, why in the world would this tax collector who nobody likes want to see Jesus? Why would he be attracted to Jesus? Well, one possibility is that Jesus was well known. He was famous. People were flocking around him. And so maybe Zacchaeus kind of wanted to be popular by association. If he's hanging out with Jesus, then maybe people will like him. Think about like kids on the playground. If you've got the one popular kid and then others hang around the popular kid, they become popular by association. Maybe that's what Zacchaeus is trying to do here. He's trying to get closer to Jesus. Well, he climbs this tree, Jesus walks by, and Jesus notices him up in this tree. Jesus then invites himself to Zacchaeus' house. Now, that's kind of rude, right? You don't invite yourself to somebody's house. You wait for them to issue the invitation. Well, Jesus invites himself to Zacchaeus' house. Why? First of all, Jesus isn't rude. Instead, he's reaching out to Zacchaeus. Remember, nobody likes Zacchaeus except Jesus. Jesus is willing not only to talk to Zacchaeus, but to go to his house and eat with him. Nobody wanted to eat with Zacchaeus. Nobody wanted to be around him, let alone eat with him. But Jesus does. And this simple act changes Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was excited. He was happy to welcome Jesus to his house. Other people were grumbling, saying, like, what in the world is Jesus doing with this guy? But Zacchaeus was so happy to welcome him. Finally, somebody wants to be his friend. Maybe you know the feeling. Maybe it seems like nobody wants to be around you for whatever reason. But Jesus does. Jesus comes to your house. He comes to be with you, and he spends time with you. And that changes you. It changed Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus admitted that he had been cheating some people when he had been taking the taxes. And he promised to sell his possessions, give half the money to the poor, and reimburse 4 times the people that he cheated. Jesus has already changed this guy. Before they've even gone back to his house, Zacchaeus has become a new person. Jesus does this to people. When you realize that Jesus loves and accepts you, you can't help but act differently. You can't help but share and give and be generous. This is what happened to Zacchaeus, and this is what happens to us. There's your 5-minute Bible study. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.